What's good, mi gente? It's Melany Moves, and you're watching Blacktinidad, where we talk about everything that's Latino, but black as F. It's Pride, and we gonna be proud today. And our proud guest today is none other than Bless. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
You doing well? We're doing well. I'm doing well too. All right, so I want to do a little icebreaker.
Bet.
And you are Puerto Rican and Jamaican, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, what is your favorite Jamaican spot in New York?
I got two. Not gonna hold you.
You got two?
So first one, of course, is Footprints.
Okay.
Footprints. Gotta give it up for Footprints
okay.
for me. And then there's one spot by Euclid Ave, right next to Cypress Projects. That's where I gotta get my my oxtails and curry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, you took it. I was gonna say Footprints too.
Footprints.
But I don't know. I just love the vibe at the grills. So I'm gonna say the grills. You know what I'm saying? You go there, you get your little rum punch. You know what I mean?
Get that
feel
red
like
snapper.
A little vibe. Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. So. Talk to me. Tell me about yourself, where you're from, your upbringing, your ethnic, racial identity, so on and so forth. And yeah, just give it to me.
You know, as you said, I'm Blessed. I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. My mom is Puerto Rican and Italian. My father is Jamaican and Japanese.
Wow.
Yeah.
You I hate this word, but you a mutt.
I'm mutt. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
You know, I grew up in East New York with my mom, mostly, Puerto Rican, Catholic upbringing. And, I just went through the trials and tribulations of growing up in the hood. You know what I mean? I grew up in Spring Creek, not too far from Pink Houses Projects. And it's a little rough around there. It could be a little rough around there.
It could be a little rough around there?
Yeah.
So tell the world, what's your sexual identity?
Sexual identity, I'm a queer trans man.
All right, cool. So you said your father is Jamaican.
Yep.
Your mother is Puerto Rican.
Yep.
Puerto Rican, Italian, Jamaican, Japanese.
Yes.
That's the mutt. That's it's cool. You like an alien.
Not alien, but yeah.
I'm saying though, like extraterrestrial, like you know what I'm saying,
like what I'm mixed with,
really
like,
super unique mix. And so you grew up with your mom, so you grew up like very Latino.
Yeah, like
right?
It was a while. Like my mom, I feel like a lot of Puerto Rican households, they listening to reggae, freestyle, whatever. Like she was always big up on the tunes, you feel me? But for the most part, I grew up, Puerto Rican Catholic, you know what I mean? Then my communion, my confirmation, I grew up in that type of household. Rice and beans, aguacate, you know what I mean? Like bite, all that. So that's how I grew up.
Okay, so you grew up like super Latino. Can we talk about how, and is your mother is like a black Latino, or she's also like a white or like mixed race?
She's mixed race.
Mixed race?
Yeah, because like my great grandmother, if you look at a photo of her, she looks straight up Taino.
Oh, she's Taino.
Yeah, she looks native. Yeah,
oh, okay.
So she's just, you know what I mean? But my mom has fair skin, the nice wide frame, you know what I mean? She's short, but, she thick.
All right.
Yeah.
And can we talk a little bit about, like, maybe your racial, ethnic identity and how you identify that way?
Well, for the most part, I feel like black is not just one thing. You know what I mean? You have light-skinned black people. You know what I mean? You have dark-skinned black people. You got people that look like us as black. So when I say black, that's me including everything that I am. You know what I mean? It's not one way to identify or look black. So I say I'm black.
You black.
Yeah.
Well, same here. That's why you're on the show. Was there like a journey to that? Because, well, obviously your father is probably unambiguously black.
Yeah, he is.
And your mother is like mestiza.
Yeah.
So was there a journey to that realization that you were black, especially growing up in a single parent household where your mother is not necessarily black?
Yeah. It wasn't really hard for me per se, but at the same time, it was a lot of education. Until this day, I'm still educating myself. You know what I mean? I was always in a Hispanic household. I was more so on the Puerto Rican side all the time. And, sometimes when I would get around, my father's side, like my aunt on his side and stuff like that, I'd really be like, do I fit in? You know what I mean? I'm seeing a whole different side of my family, or a whole nother side that my identity is attached to, and I'm just like, what is this? You know what I mean? But now that I'm older, I'm just like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand what it is. Like, okay, it's okay to be, Puerto Rican and Jamaican at the same time. Like, it's okay to know that even though they're two separate things, it's okay to be both in one. So, well, one culture might do, the other might not, but that's fine. You bring those two together and that's it.
Yeah, that's dope. But like at the end of the day, you black.
I'm black.
Okay,
That's
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, when we come back, we're gonna talk more about your journey in your sexual orientation and your sexual identity as a trans man. And I'm super excited. So you guys, when we come back, we're gonna talk to him about his journey becoming a trans man. All right, and see you soon. Hola, 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 mi gente. It's me, Melany Moves. You're watching Blacktinidad. Today we have on our show Bless. Bless is a trans man. So let's talk about your journey first, your journey towards your sexual orientation, and then your journey towards your sexual identity. So let's start with, what was your former name, and how did you go from how the world decided to identify you into how you ended up identifying as who you are today?
Okay, well, my former name is Dominique. If you ask my mom what my name is, she will say Dom Unique. You know what I mean? She emphasis on the unique. And you know, I went from Dom Unique to Bless. And a lot of people don't know that Dominique in general means like of the Lord, or like blessings of the Lord. So that's, you know, blessed, this stems from that. As far as my sexual orientation, it was tough. It was tough because, like, you know, like I said, growing up in a Catholic home, it was like I was taught, the private community taught me that, you know, I had to be with a man. I had to conform, and I had to marry a man. I had to beg children. I had to clean the house. I had to do that. So it took me a long time to really come out and open up as, like, at first, like, hey, I'm a lesbian. You know what I mean? And when that happened, it was just like everything hit the fan. Everything hit the fan.
And what age was that?
So, you know, some people...
Actually, let's talk about, like, what age did you realize I'm not trying to do what the Bible says, quote
Elementary
unquote.
school.
Elementary school. Wow, that young.
I really had my first girlfriend in 4th grade.
Wow.
I had a boyfriend, and I had a boyfriend too.
You had a boyfriend
on the side.
too.
You know, he was like, he was a front. But I had my first girlfriend in 4th grade.
Which speaks to a lot of the conversations that people have in terms of, you know, younger children deciding how they should identify.
Right.
If you're in elementary school and you're realizing, like, I don't identify as what the world tells me to, then that kind of shows how it's not really a choice.
It's not.
It's just something that you feel and something that you are.
Right.
And you can feel that as young as
4th grade.
4th grade.
Even younger.
Yeah,
even younger. Like, I remember vividly, like, playing house, and I always wanted to be the daddy. You know what I mean? I could not be the mommy. You could not get me to be the mother of anyone's playing house. You know what I mean? Like, I was always the daddy. Like, yeah, all right, like, I'm the daddy. When you go to work, you got to give me a kiss, and then we get to play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had to do that. You know what I mean? So that's always, like, growing up, you know, into the man I am now, and I'm realizing, like, I've always known. It was just a factor of, how do I get there? You know, will my family support me? You know, will the world support me? Are they gonna shun me? And to be honest, it was a lot of negative before I got to the positive. But now that I'm here, you know, I'm here, baby. Like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, and initially, obviously, it was like lesbian. And were you, like, first a femme lesbian, and then you became a more masculine lesbian?
Yeah,
and then, like, what was that like?
That was tough. So my mom, you know, she had her baby girl. You know what I mean? And she always, you know, every 2 weeks I went to get an oil treatment and deep conditioner at the Dominican.
The Dominican spot.
You know what I mean? And, you know, that was good. But, you know, it got to a point when I was just like, yo, Ma, I don't wanna wear this. It's too tight. I would cry every time I was in a dress. You know, I'm cry. I'm talking real tears, hysterical crying. You know, and I was just like, this is not me. And I always played ball. I was a little, you know, always rough around the edges. You know, play fighting, slap boxing in the hood. You know what I mean? So that was always me. And it got to a point where my mom was like, all right, you know, I'll let you wear what you want. But then at the same time, she kept pulling back. You know what I mean? So I had to hide my clothes that I would buy myself in my book bag, get to school and change into, like, more masculine attire. So I would leave feminine, get to school, I was just, like, more masculine. Yeah, so I had, you know, 2 identities, so to speak. So I was like feminine, and then full on AG towards, like, middle high school towards the end.
So, and explain what AG is.
It's like aggressive feminine.
Aggressive feminine.
Yeah. Okay. So even though I still identified as a female, my appearance was more aggressive.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Cool. And then at what age were you like, this still ain't me? I'm not a lesbian woman. I am a straight trans man. Or however you identify.
Right.
Yeah.
It was high school. I want to say I was maybe 17, 18. And I feel like, for the most part, I was going on this continuous journey. It was like, all right, I'm a lesbian. All right, I'm a lesbian, aggressive female. And then it's like, something's still not right. Like, the pieces aren't hitting how it should be. Like, I still feel a little empty. And I went to a school called Harvey Milk High School, so big ups to Harvey Milk High School in Soho, New York. And I got to see the other side, like, of the LGBTQ plus community. And I was like, oh, this is more. Because, I was just a lesbian female from East New York, Brooklyn. So it wasn't showing me what the life was, so to speak. So here I went to Harvey Milk High School, and it was just like, okay, there's more to this life. Like, there's more than just being a lesbian. Like, what else is it? And I started going down that road to finding who I truly was. And it still took me a while to utter the words like, you're a transgender man. Like, I was going on 30 years old.
Wow, so it took you almost 12 years to be like, no, I'm trans.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's so cool. That's such an interesting story. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Bless's wife, and we're going to talk about his transition from being, I guess, biologically female,
yeah,
and then becoming biologically male so that his biology can match his identity. All right, when we come back. Welcome back to Blacktinidad. Today we have on our show Bless and Leeah. They are a pansexual. Sheesh, what is it?
We're a queer couple.
You're a queer couple.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
thank
how we
you.
identify.
Thank you for correcting me. I was like, wait a second, that's not right. He's trans, she's not trans, but she's not straight. They're not, okay, got it. It can be really confusing. Salah. All right, so we're here. So let's talk about first, let's have a little fun before we get into like the nitty gritty. All right, how did you guys meet?
You want to take that one?
We met at a college party.
Okay, what college?
It was Clash of the Colleges, so there was a whole bunch of different colleges there that night.
6 colleges that night.
But like, at what campus was it?
It was near Herkimer.
Yeah, but it wasn't on campus. It was like being held at a bar, like a club.
Okay, and what were the schools that were there?
You might
Herkimer, Tompkins Corning Community College, Binghamton, Ithaca College, and like 2.
So like upstate, so.
Yeah, upstate, yeah.
All right, cool.
So basically, we were partying. He was like across the room type of thing, and I just kept eyeing him. I'm like, yo, he looked good. So I kept looking at him, and when he would look at me, I kind of look away, like I don't want him to know I'm looking at him. And his friend ended up telling him like, yo, I think that Indian girl keep looking at you.
Not Indian?
No, not Indian though.
So like, peep game though, like when she tan, she like real native skin. Like she like real native skin. So like she had jet black hair, she had like blonde strips on the side, so it really made her complexion like pop. So we all thought she was Indian. But she was standing next to this dude that was like 7 feet tall, and I'm like, nah, that gotta be her man.
He was trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't want
and I'm like, I'm telling my friend, like, I'm not gonna talk to her. Like, he gonna kick me dead in my face. Like, I'm only 5, whatever. Like, I'm not doing that. But it's crazy because that night she was actually there with a shorty. Like, she was there with a female, and I was there with a female as well.
Okay.
So we pulled up to the party with people we was talking to.
So y'all was just thotting about
Pretty much. We wasn't tied, we wasn't shackled, so, you know, we was looking. And
I see what you're saying. So you wasn't like in command. It was like, you know.
Nah, we was just, you know, doing us.
We not quite single, but we ready to mingle.
Right. So, I mean, like, she dropped her glasses, I picked it up, you know, she asked me if I danced, I'm like, yeah, I danced, whatever, they was playing tunes. I went to the bathroom and I started walking back down to the center stage, and she had on like a crop top, but like,
a button down
and some nice jeans and, you know, some shoes. So I saw like the side of her, you know, her waist was exposed when I walked past. So I kept walking past and I just swiped my 2 fingers around her waist and I kept it pushing.
Ooh.
I look back and I'm like, oh, he playing. He is playing.
It was over. After that, it was over. Like we started talking. She was playing hard to get at first. All right, but we started
She was
talking.
like, can't be easy.
Right. So she made it really hard, and then she ended up. Long story short, she transferred schools mid-semester and came to my school.
Okay, what school you went to?
I went to Thomas Colin Community
And you
College.
went to?
I went to Herkimer at the time.
You went to Herkimer.
I was doing bad, like so bad. I'm like, okay, like I just met somebody, we vibing, like I'm in love with him. Yeah. Okay, let me make this move.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at the time, you were a him, or that's how you
I didn't even transition yet.
No.
So you were at the time you were a lesbian woman.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's so cool. I love that stuff. It's so cute.
And I don't even go to parties. So I was
I know,
like,
it was like random. It was like fate.
so random. Yeah.
It was like fate. All right, well, let's talk about what, so you guys were together how long when you decided to completely transition?
3 years.
3 years. So you were together for 3 years when you were like, I think that I want to be biologically matching my identity.
Yeah.
Cool. And you guys did like a whole YouTube situation where you kind of,
we speak
blogged about it.
Yeah, it's Chats with the Jacks on YouTube. JAXS, Chats with the Jacks.
Chats with the Jacks.
Yeah, one word. Yeah, and we spoke about it a little bit, and that was really hard. That was tough. I was petrified, and when I say petrified, I mean like scared, because here I am. How am I gonna tell the love of my life that I'm not who you fell in love with? I'm completely different than what you fell in love with. And I've never really experienced depression in my life, and I hit rock bottom. Like, all I would do is go to work, come home, shower, eat, sleep. Like, I wouldn't.
In that order.
Yeah.
Every day for
I wouldn't
months.
give her a kiss. I wouldn't embrace her. Like, I just didn't want to be. I was just disgusted, like, with myself. It wasn't her, but me doing that to myself, it kind of made her feel like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it took a really, really hard, toll on us. You know what I mean?
And what were your feelings like? And then what role did you feel like you needed to play to make sure that he was able to transition very, at least emotionally clean?
Well, I was very supportive. Like, when he told me he was trans, I can understand why he was scared, because like he just said, you were with someone for 3 years and you met them one way, and now they're saying that they're someone completely different. So it was really hard to take in, and I was more so hurt at the fact that he held it in for so long, because it was eating at him, like, so bad. And then it started eating at our relationship, and then it started eating at me, because I started thinking, like, what am I doing wrong? But it really wasn't me. He was just going through it.
Yeah.
And the most I could do was just be supportive, try to be an ear, let him know, like, I'm here for you if you need something, you want to talk about something. But there's only so much that I can do. He has to do the rest for himself. Like, he has to push himself.
And then when she was there, you were like, oh yeah, that's why.
She was like, all right. She was like, okay, and like I told her, I was crying, I told her, and she was like, okay, and I still love you. Exactly her words. She was just like, okay,
so
like,
beautiful.
I still love
you.
it. And that was that.
All right, well, we gotta take a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk more about their journey and how they walk through the world, how the world sees them, and how they would prefer the world to see them. All right, when we come back here on Blacktinidad. Hola, 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 mi gente. It's me, Melany Moves. We're back here on Blacktinidad. We're talking to Bless and to Leeah, a queer couple, about their journey in the world and in their identification. So let's talk about how you identify as a couple, because sometimes that can be a little confusing, especially for those of us who are not part of that community.
Yeah.
So technically, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine and trying to explain to them that when a trans individual transitions, they no longer are a lesbian or a gay. Right. They are now a straight trans man or like a straight trans woman. So technically you would be...
Technically, if I was with someone that identified as heterosexual, I would be a straight, heterosexual man. But my wife identifies as
pansexual.
Right.
Okay.
So like I feel like it's important for me to uphold her identity as well, because if I tell you, okay, I'm a heterosexual man, what does that say about my wife? You know what I mean? You would think that she's heterosexual as well, and she's not. So I have to make it a point to make sure that she's upheld in her position as well and what she identifies as.
Okay, and now you identify as pansexual. Can you explain like what is pansexual?
So basically, being pansexual is like you're attracted to all identities. There are no limits.
There's no limits to that. Like
you just love people for who they are.
Okay, so you're attracted to women, men, trans women, trans men.
People.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that makes sense now, because I'm just like, pansexual, this sexual, that's sexual.
It's a lot. It's
a lot of
sexuals. Lots of it. Anyway, all right, that's super interesting. And then, so then as a couple, you guys identify as a queer couple.
That's correct, yeah.
All right, that's dope. All right, so much clarity. Thank you, thank you. I'm like, woo, this is a whole lesson for me.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's talk about marriage, right? We was talking about love. Now let's talk about marriage.
Okay.
All right, so you guys recently got married.
Yeah, we make 2 years July 2nd.
2 years July 2nd.
Yeah.
And how was that? And then also, like, how was that? Did you guys like have a wedding? Like, what do your families think about you, your relationship, and your identities?
You want to go first?
All right. So, my mom is really supportive. She's really supportive. She's just like, you know, we decided we wanted to get married and, you know, do a ceremony and stuff like that. But what really pushed us to get married when we did was we had just lost a really, really dear friend of ours, and it was just like a snap of a finger and she was just gone. And we looked at each other, we was like, if we want to get married, I don't care where it is, I don't care who's there, we're going to do this now. Because like, if it's our time, I want to be married to you. Like, I want to be with you. I want the world to know that we loved each other that much. And we just went to City Hall and we did it. And my mom was there, her mom, her sister, her brother. We had our goddaughter with us. A close friend of ours came, and we just went to City Hall. We got married, and then had dinner at Vandal after in New York City, and that was it. Yeah.
Something short, simple, sweet, to the point.
Yep.
And you Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, Puerto Rican, Ecuadorian, and Italian.
Also, another like type of month.
Yeah.
But another month. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, and then how does your family feel, or like what was that like for you, your family, like coming to terms with your sexual identity?
Well, my family, my mom and my dad were not very supportive in the beginning, which caused me to just like be depressed, isolate myself and stuff like that. But then it got to the point where I felt like I can't keep holding in, you know, all of this. I need to just be myself. I need to do me. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to make sure I'm good but me. So it got to the point I just started doing me, and my mom, I guess she started feeling left out of my life. So she started being more supportive. She tried to be there.
Definitely.
Same thing with my dad. Not very supportive, but you know, he was left out. So he had to be supportive if he wanted to be a part of my life. So my mom was there the day we got married, and she was just like, as long as he treats you good,
That's all she care about.
And you love him, then
we good.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's so amazing. Especially like once families come along and supportive, it could be like really emotionally jarring to have family members who don't support you, or maybe family members of you know, your significant other who don't respect you or your identity, which is obviously something that definitely does happen.
It was something that took place. It was something at first it wasn't great. Like, it was bad. It was bad. Like, they did not like the fact that, okay, like, she really loves this person. You know, at first, you know, when they met me, I was a female, you know, and then when I started to transition, he was just like, no, like, I don't understand this. Like, what is this? Why? If that's the case, just be with a man. But it's a learning curve for everyone. We're all, like, when I tell people I'm trans and like they make, you know, they call me by the wrong pronouns, I'm like, it's okay. You're learning too. You're transitioning with me. We're all transitioning together. Right. Like, and I tell people, like, you know, I got thick skin. You know what I mean? It's learning for everyone. It's knowledge for everyone. You mess up, oh, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? That's all that matters is you fixed it. That's all that matters. I don't care.
Yeah, and I think that's such an amazing thing, because it is confusing for those of us who are not trans and those of us who are not part of the community. And I think it is beautiful that you have a certain level of grace for those of us who don't understand, but who are seeking to understand.
Right.
And that way we have these conversations, and then at the end of the day, we would just be able to love each other for who we are and how we choose to identify.
Of course.
So we're gonna wrap it up. This was so cool. I totally gotta like check out your YouTube. What is it called again?
Chats with the Jacks.
Chats with the Jacks, and like
JAXS.
really go and watch the in-depth journey that you went in transitioning, because I'm super, super curious about it. I do have a family member who is a trans man as well.
Cool.
And not completely transitioned, but
Okay.
But it would be great for me to watch, so that I can definitely understand where he's coming from in terms of like that identification. So that's so dope. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
you
you.
guys have been watching Blacktinidad, where we talk about everything that's Latino but Black as F. And today we were so prideful in having our queer couple today. See you guys next week here on Blacktinidad.